So the calendar for the upcoming 9 weeks, it'll be posted soon enough. Again, biggest thing is test next week. You guys online, I probably won't have ellipses posted till Thursday because my only pre-cal classes are 2nd and 4th, and they don't meet until Thursday. So tomorrow's 1, 3, 5, 7. Wednesday is 5, 6, and 7. Thursday is a regular 2, 4, 6. So again, for you guys at home, virtual people, my pre-cal classes are 2, 4, and 6. So I'm not going to have ellipse information posted until Thursday because that's the first time I have a pre-cal class to record.
Hey, there's some pretty good YouTube channels.
There are not.
Yeah, like mine. So standard form for the equation of a circle. I think you've seen this before. Yes, no? Does it look familiar? Algebra 2? It may be a no.
What?
Okay. So this is what the equation of a circle looks like, where H and K are the center, the point that makes the center, and R is the radius. So be careful, the equation has R squared in it, so you take the square root of that to figure out what the radius is. Let's do a couple of examples. These aren't really that bad. Find the center and radius of the circle with this equation. X minus 5 squared plus y plus 8 squared equals 16. So the center is 5, negative 8. There's a sign change going on. No big deal. And the radius is 4 because it's the square root of 16. It gets a little bit harder. I don't even know that I'd say it gets a lot harder. Why don't you do number 2 real quick? I'm not even going to pause the video because you're going to do it quicker than it takes me to hit pause and unpause. And then because you requested it, Ty, what's the center? Or where is the center? I like the 2. Good. Negative 7 and 2. So careful with the signs. Kyle, how about the radius? Well, if R squared is 4, then R is 2. Yep. So again, be careful. The equation has R squared in it, so take the square root of the R squared to get to R. Number 3, a little bit of a backwards question here, right? The equation given the center and the radius. So X and Y. So X minus 4, Y minus 9. Make sure you put the squared on both of those. It's frustrating when people know all of the pre-cal and then on the test they leave off the squared. You're like, you're making 98 on the test, which is great, but you could add 100 if you'd remember to put the squares on there. All right, what goes on the other side over here? 64. R squared. If R is 8, then R squared is 64. Good, you guys are already trying number 4. I know, square root of 7 looks intimidating until you start thinking about what you're going to do with the square root of 7. People leaving off the squares already. Second example. So what goes in parentheses with X? Okay, there's 2 good answers here.
Zero. Plus or minus?
You can put minus 0 if you want, if you really want to like make it look like kind of the format. But X minus 0 is just X. So if you just want to write X squared there, that's okay too. All right, what's going to go in with Y?
Plus 4.
Good, Y plus 4. And you could put Y minus negative 4. That would be okay. It wouldn't be wrong. And then what's the square root of 7 squared,
7.
7. X squared plus y plus 4 squared equals 7. All right, Jason, now is where, like you said, something's got to get harder because that's too easy. So right about now is where things are going to get a little bit harder. Because equations 5 and 6, they're not in the right format, right? They don't look, I can't just look at that and pick off what the center and the radius are. So I'm going to have to do some work. So I'm going to group the x stuff together, leave a little space, and then group the y stuff together. And then I'm going to put the 11 on the other side. So I'm going to add 11 to both sides to kind of move it out of the way. Does that setup look familiar or ring any bells? Because we solved quadratics using this method earlier in the year.
I just didn't like the method.
It's your least favorite method for completing, that was the answer. Completing the square. Your least favorite method for solving quadratics is completing the square. Do you remember anything about completing the square? You can give me a no before I...
Divide by 2 and square.
Okay. The key step in completing the square, or the key steps, was half it, square it, add it. I hope that rings a bell. Half it, square it, add it. That's what we're going to do on this. We're going to half it. So that would get us -3. Square it. That would get us to 9. And then we'll add it. So we're going to add 9. Now you can't just add 9 to one side. That would be illegal. So we'll add 9 to both sides. Half of b. Square it, you get 9, and add it to both sides. And because you're squaring, you always get a positive, so you're always adding to both sides. You're never subtracting from both sides. So what's half of b for the y stuff?
16.
Well, answer my question. Half of b is 4, and then what will we add to both sides? 16. Now we need to factor this. The factoring, if we remember the process here, is easy because it always uses b over 2. So there's sort of two ways to factor this. The shortcut is it's always b over 2. The long way is, well, what two numbers multiply to 9 and add to -6? Well, it's x minus 3 and x minus 3. We completed the square. We forced this to be a perfect square. So x minus 3 squared plus, let's see, b over 2 is 4, so y plus 4 squared equals 36. Oh yeah, if you really want to be smart, you could write it as 6 squared because you're going to need the 6 in a minute. So there's the equation that is more helpful. That's the standard form of the equation. Make sure we answer the question. Find the center and the radius. Well, this is easy now. The center, I say it's easy, and then I'm going to call on somebody, so we'll see. Tyler, what's the center of that circle?
3, -4.
Good. I was worried about the signs, but you got it. Megan, what's the radius? 6. So, to me, that's as hard as it gets. Like that's the kind of the weird one that makes things a little bit tricky. Why don't you try number 6?
Try. That's a good idea.
Try.
Try.
I think you'll be fine. I'll even do the first step for you, and then see if you can take it from there.
Wait a second. Just put it
So
this way.
half it, square it, add it. Half it, square it, add it. Careful when you square -1. You get +1. Add 1.
You just put square root over 11. That's all. You can
So 10 plus 1 is 11. It makes me think somebody meant this to be 9, but it didn't work out that way. So the center, Charlotte, where's the center? Good. And then, we're going to put somebody on the spot with this radius business when it's not a nice number. Oh, he's not here. But I have total faith in Keegan to tell us that the the radius is... it would not be 6.4. So r squared is 11. So square root both sides. And just put the square root on it and just say it's square root of 11 and be done with it.
Can we do that for all of it?
Well, when it comes to graphing, like we're going to do next, that'd be a little bit tricky. Let's talk about that while we're here. What's the square root of 11? Without typing it in, what's it close to, or what's it between?
3 and 4.
3 and 4, because
3.2.
3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16. So it's in between 3 and 4.
It's less than 3.5.
It's probably less than 3.5. It's 3 point something. And that's going to be good enough for us when it comes to graphing, because on a graph this small, you're not going to be able to tell the difference between 3.3 and 3.5 anyway. So as long as you're kind of in the ballpark, you'll be fine for graphing.
As long as you know the whole number.
Yeah, you'll be okay graphing-wise. And if you look at each of these graphs, they're all nice radii.
Are we going to have like ones that aren't?
Probably only on accident, but could happen. Let's see. I can get some more picking on people here. Andrew, how about this one's nice. It's already in the right format. What's the center of that circle? 2, -3. And Emma, what's the radius? 4. So, yeah, this should be easy. As long as you don't get your x and y backwards or forget a negative or something. So 2 -3. Watch me mess one up here. Over 2, down 3. And what do I do with that radius 4? See much of you doing this. Go 4 in each direction. So 4 up, 4 right, 4 down, 4 left. And then, yes, please draw a circle.
Wait, can you go diagonally?
I don't need you to draw you don't need to get the compass out. But I also don't want a diamond there.
Oh, why?
I want, because the circle has curves.
Okay, like, it's so much easier.
Oh, first circle of the year, that's pretty good. Take that.
Listen, I got injured. This is good.
I mean, as long as I can tell you're trying to make a circle. If you make that, I'm going to take off a point or two, because
Well, it looks like a special square.
You can do like a.
that's not a circle.
I can't. Look at my hand. You see my hand already? You think you can draw a good circle?
Just use your left hand.
All right, next one. Cruising through these today, which is good. Nothing wrong with that. And more volunteers. Voluntold. Kristen. Hiding way back in the back over there. How about the center of that circle? Good. And Jason, the radius? 5. So, -3, 5. Again, this isn't hard. Just be careful. Double check that you're in the right spot. Don't graph a square. As best you can. Draw a circle, not a diamond.
It looks like a rounded square.
Another good circle from Mr. Wolf. I'm on it today.
Can it be like curved?
As long as I can tell you're trying to draw a circle. Again, I'm taking off if you give me a diamond.
How about this?
That's losing points. That's fine. That's fine.
That is literally a messed up square.
I mean, it's a little messy, but you got a broken hand. We'll let that one go. I got to pick somebody who's here. Olivia's here. Maria's here.
It's just 6-0.
So, Olivia, you got a kind of a tricky one here. What's the center for that one?
6.
Yes?
0, I guess.
0, you guess. You guessed right. Right? Because that'd be the same as if it was y minus 0 squared. Like, we don't really write it like that, but that would be the same thing. So yeah, that kind of throws people off sometimes. Maria, how about the radius? 2. 2, 4, 6. Radius 2. Oh, I heard somebody say they had a perfect circle. That's bold to claim your circle's perfect. Is it easier to draw a small circle than a big circle? Is that it?
Well, I just did make it look like 2 points and just do like it's so much easier. It looks better than this rounded square.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Find the domain. So domain is left and right. Let's go back to part A here. So that's the x values that it covers. Might have been easy if we'd have done it at the time, but let's see. We started at 2. We backed up 4. This x value is negative 2. And we want to include negative 2. And then it goes up to, what's that x value on the other side?
It's 6.
Started at 2 and went 4 more, so negative 2 to 6. Definitely not infinity. These are all
I'm trying to go to infinity.
bounded, restricted.
Maybe I should just write this.
Let's see.
Yeah.
There's sort of a shortcut.
So do I.
Most of you are just going to look at the picture, but you can take the x value and then add and subtract the radius, and that gets you the left x and the right x. So negative 3 minus 5 goes to negative 8. Negative 3 plus 5 goes to 2. I don't know that that's really worth remembering or thinking about, because you can just look at the picture and figure it out. And then lastly, that'd be 4 to 8. So, thank you for pointing out the domain thing, but not difficult. All right, today's assignment is worksheet 1. Pretty straightforward.
Gee, that's crazy.
Maybe finish before you leave today. That'd be nice.
You want to hand it out?